everyone, my name is Ellie and I am the musician member of Emerald Ant. So, here today in Dorset, it's a beautiful morning. The sun's shining, there's gorgeous blue sky, really wonderful. But guess what? It's actually really cold because we are now in autumn here in Dorset, and so even though the sun's shining and it's blue sky, it's really chilly. We had bonfire night last week, and now every day we seem to be just stepping a little bit closer to winter. So here I am by my fire, and I've been thinking a lot about how fire began. It's an element, but how did it actually begin? Was it a creation? Was it something that just happened? Was it an invention? Because at the moment here in Emerald Ant World, we are thinking a lot about ancient inventions. So, what was the deal for ancient man and woman with fire? Well, I did a bit of research, and what I discovered was that millions of years ago, actually, fire was a terrifying force for ancient man and woman. It was this wild energy that was completely uncontrollable, and they were really afraid of it. However, at some point, and we really still don't know exactly when, but at some point, ancient man and woman found a way to make fire themselves. And from learning how to make fire, they were able to harness that energy and use it to do all sorts of useful things. So how did they make fire? Well, one of the ways that they did this was they would get two stones. Now this is the slightly scientific bit. One of these pieces of stone would be a piece of flint, and the other piece of stone would be a piece of iron pyrite, which sounds, how is that possible that they were so scientific? But it's really true. That's what they used. And they would tap these stones together really fast, and after they'd been tapping them for a while, they would create a spark. And from this spark, they would be able to light little pieces of wood and tinder to make a fire. And from being able to make their fire, of course, they could keep warm, they could go to colder places and still keep warm, they could have a source of light at night time, and they could cook. So for the first time they were able to cook their food, which is absolutely amazing, isn't it? Because we take that so for granted, don't we? But imagine the first time that they could cook. How incredible that would be. So, here in Dorset, we are very lucky because we have the most spectacular beach you can imagine. It's so spectacular, in fact, that it is a World Heritage Site. And along this beach, there are hundreds of fossils, literally hundreds. And my favourite beach in Dorset is called Chesil Beach, and this is the beach where all the fossils can be found. They've even found dinosaurs, so of course for us in Emerald Ant, it's very exciting. So when I go to Chesil Beach, I like to take long walks, and at some point in my walk I will always sit down and I will pick up two pebbles. Now these pebbles are not iron pyrite and flint, they are different kinds of pebbles. But because I'm a musician, I use them in a different way. I don't make fire with pebbles or stones. I like to practice my pulse. So what is a pulse? Well, a pulse is like a heartbeat. Sometimes we can refer to a heartbeat as a pulse, and in music, the heartbeat of the music is called the pulse. And as a musician, we need to practice this quite a lot. so that we have a really strong sense of that pulse. Because then, when we have a strong sense of pulse, we can play in groups, in bands, in orchestras, and we can play really well with our friends. So, here are my 2 stones, and this is what I do. I go, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. All the time, I'm keeping that pulse as steady as I can. And one of the ways that helps me is by saying "and" in the middle of each beat. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2. And you can do 3 beats, or 4 beats, 2 beats, 5 beats. What's important is that you just keep steady. Now you could go faster. You could do this. You could go and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3. Or you could go slower. You could go and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2. But what's really important is that you keep it steady. So the better we are as musicians at keeping a pulse, the more possibilities we have to create amazing music. So it's actually the foundation of being a musician, and that's why I want to talk to you about it today. So, why don't you have a go? Go into the garden maybe, find yourself a couple of stones, or go along to a nice pebbly beach and choose your pebbles. Make these your musical instruments. These are going to help you to really develop your skill at keeping a pulse. And you can even personalize them. You could write your name, or you could paint a picture, or you could create a beautiful design. Here are some examples of some lovely stones that some of my pupils have given me over the years. See what you think. Okay, so this is the first one. I love that. It's really quite caveman-like, isn't it? Love that face. It's fantastic. Then I have a beautiful heart. Then I love this one, BFF. And if I turn it around, you can see there's another design, which is rather nice. And lastly, just look at all the detail that went into this. A lot of time spent on that. Really very beautiful and special. So have some fun. Choose your stones, make them personal, and learn how to keep your pulse. And then we can do all sorts of new musical things. See you next time.